property and said, you're 1 away from the set. That has got to be the stupidest proposal I've ever heard. It seems like a fair offer to me. He pays the sales if you want to put property away from having to set after the bill. Your damn brain, you still have to go through the bill for that last thing property you benefit from that trade. Don't call my friend Clarence Barak. That's not nice. The manipulation and gaslighting is ridiculous. Did you clear over your damn mind? Shut up. You make me land on a luxury tax just like you did with Bill. Super duper back. How do you let me do that? You need to clear yourself, Donald? You have terrible energy. You're like, I need more assets to make it more appealing for Bill to give me that property. But you wouldn't know that since you don't know anything about this game. And the luck also made me land on party. This is getting ridiculous at this point. You guys listen to this. It will be because your guys just don't like you. Not me. Why do you got this so much? So really, one trade, you're acting like the world is ending. I'm calling it how it is. That would be off the deal for Bill's thing. I am just looking out for it. That's it. We're not friends, Barra. I don't need you looking out for me. Okay, it's my turn to make some money here. I have to move if I turn again, Barra? Yeah, totally. Because I am the reason why you're losing right now. You even admitted to it. Do you not get the difference from that? Or is that the one, Barra? You get the damn truth. You keep on it. My name is Joe Biden. I like training. You like training from literally doing the rain for a bag of peanuts? All right, stop the debate. Out of your hands. For the love of God, do not fall for that crap again. Okay, that was super zesty sounding. I just needed to point that out. But somebody should have pointed out that you're too old. Excuse me? Maybe you could have waited off the McDonald's yesterday. You know what? I am going to take the high road and not respond to that. Good job, Donald. Holy crap. It's not that you won't respond to that, except you can't respond to that. So did you guys see how I picked up the other utility property? I am cooking right now, Billy. Yeah, I'm sure everybody's still depending on the property or one. It is a lethal set to have to do a best fee. Or fake already one of the gourmet cooking you can do moving forward. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the $10, by the way, Bestie. No problem, Bestie. That's what friends do. Are you guys playing Monopoly, or are you guys just having a cute game right or something right now? Your voice is actually annoying me. Could you please stop talking for 1 minute? You couldn't stop yapping, even if you wanted to. We're trying to save our damn friendship. You guys are doing nothing to help, you know. How many times do we have to tell you that we're not friends anymore? Why can't you accept that? I have to do this is so pathetic, a lot, even for you. But keep it up, though. It's fun seeing you like this. You're going to go to hell, Dylan. You can realize that, right? The hell you say about me? It's such an awful thing to say to anybody, Garrett. Please leave us alone after this. You're an awful person for saying something like that. Who wants to do? Nobody wants to hear from you when you feel bad. What are you doing? Yeah, so bad. I would get it moving forward. You're going to say that again, Jim. If it's anybody who needs help, just do it. Not do it all. You don't have self-love to us back and look where we are now. Why do you keep living in the past? This is why you can't accept this present. Because you run good that. Stupid. Stop talking about me like I'm some unstable individual. You are. You're the one who's unstable. You're more doing. Shut up, Jones. Don't think that's better than you've done have yourself. Bill is giving up $200 because you gave George the set for nothing. See, this is why they don't want to be your friends. You're telling them to shut up. You're calling them dumb. You're calling them stupid. Do you not see this? You upset and have that wayward citizen. You don't get to talk. Give it a break. It's ridiculous how annoying you are right now. And it's ridiculous how excessive you guys can drive me. Okay, shut up. Our friend George just got the first orange property. Nicely played. Thank you for the praise, my friend. Fans should never. It's just one because all the millions is about to somehow get the entire orange set, too. Okay, how stupid are you? Only one of the 3 orange properties has been taken. Why would you conclude that George will get that set? Considering how he got the railway stuff. You shouldn't get the entire thing. Why the hell are you still talking? Bill's the best in the question to and I get to respond. You do not get to respond. You have to sit there quietly and take it. I don't even know why you're focused on me and you're way behind everyone else. Because you keep yapping, and things are about to change now. Property in Kentucky out of the nice one, Donald. I see that you'll run away from completing the set. Yeah, I'm going to get property off of you, Bill. What's it going to take? You don't have crap to offer, Bill, Donald. Where did you start with that? Why do you feel the need to yell? What's wrong with you? Everything is wrong with it, guys. That's just doing with that horse. You three need to be admitted into a psychiatric ward immediately. God, you're losing it, Barra. It's honestly pathetic. How about you pronounce my name correctly for once? Bill thinks he can tell us what to do. For real, bestie, isn't it? Your whole damn life is a joke, George. You know that? Don't talk about my bestie like that. What the hell are you going to do about it? Well, my bestie was asking about the red company building. Everybody thought Joe's deal was bad. What's the crazy amount of zestiness, Barra? Stop making fun of my voice, Dan. It actually makes sense, though. Donald doesn't have anything that will help Bill. Bill is getting the most for something that isn't particularly useful for him. Good one, Bill. That's an insane analysis, Bill. Great job. They don't need to get away from it. And I mean way more value than giving other guys in that property. Why are you so controlling? For real, why can't you let me make my own decisions without you breathing on my damn neck all the time? Because that's just who he is, my friend. They're not your friends. Sorry you had to be with Sarah for so long. Don't be sorry, George. We're just happy that we're with you now and not Sarah. Yeah, for real. I'm glad I could do business like this with you, by the way. It just goes to show how flexible and open-minded you are, Bessie. You don't have to be flexible and open-minded to such a disgusting and lopsided deal like that. Wow. Why do you keep calling everybody in town? What's the matter with you? They like you. Your people will often throw their own insecurities onto other people. So deep within, Barrett knows that he is the clown, not us. You are so smart for thinking that, Bessie. Yeah, that's just a super smart thing to say. Super great analysis, George. You guys are so stupid for being manipulated like this. This is a complete joke. You're the stupid one, Barack. Well, you're the stupid one. That's enough, Barack. I really tried giving you a second chance to do beyond repair. Ain't that the truth? Hopefully you're alone in life. You really think about how badly you messed up with us. You know what? I'm not going to be alone. I am going to be around better friends one day. Just you wait. Nobody will want to be friends with such a miserable person like you, Barrett. Be honest with yourself. I love you guys. You guys are making me feel so good right now. There is something seriously wrong with you, George. Well, let's see. I have 3 friends in this hall. You're confident. You don't have it. So is there something wrong with you? Is there something wrong with you? Just like you said earlier, George, in life. People often put their own insecurities on other people. This book is actually telling me already. This is the most disgusting thing in the world right now. Dude, sound tell us something if you ask me. For real, he's so miserable. He literally just lost $200 to do it. So what? You are the miserable one. You forced him down that finger, orange-faced wig, wearing having fun. You think you cooked it that was lame as hell? I thought you did something. I know, right? Do you think you're cool with something else? I thought giving us $50 for a damn utility. Joe's definitely a cool guy. Thanks for that, Bill, and I don't mind giving us $50. I have so much damn money in it. That is such a dope mindset to have, Joe. You are indeed a cool guy. I think it should go without saying that you three are cool. Thanks for that, Benson. You know you're super cool from right now. That's a disgusting thing. What an nasty thing to do right now, Ben. You're super cool. Yeah, I agree. That could never be me in a million years. Shut up! This is fair about it. Sure, okay. I swear to God, this has to be something right there. Let's take him out of this damn call already and focus on the game. Soon, my friend, I'm enjoying every second of this. How about you just act like he's not in the cold? That's an amazing idea that I could not think of a better way to analyze it myself. You want to do it, sir. Seriously, all of that. Have you had enough yet? Would it time to stop talking to us? Please, Bill, I beg of you, take the hell. You begging now? Please listen to me. Oh God, this is so damn fun. He's saying please now. Bill, for the love of God, just listen to me. Why can't you just shut the hell up? Never. I would do anything for things to go back to normal. It's a thing, man. Down so bad. You're things I'll do whatever you want. Are you finally doing what I felt there? Hey, Bessie. I hope it's not too much to ask, but if you do me a favor, anything for you, Bessie. I care about you so much. Please, I don't want Eric in this call anymore. Can we please stick it out now? I just want to focus on having fun with my Bessie. Is that what you really want, Bessie? It is, Bessie. And I think our friends Donald and Joe think the same way. We just want to have a fun time playing with you. My friends, do you agree with my bestie? I agree with your bestie, George. You just want to create fun and positive memories. Same here. We don't like being Sarah, but we like being around you. Well, I guess this is it then, huh? Good business, Sarah. There's the suffering, loneliness, and rejection. You are not worth our time anymore. Everybody say good riddance to Don Bass. Good riddance, Sarah. Good riddance, Sarah. Did he only reach the phone? I'm so sorry, Shalbat. I blocked him on the picture. I know you guys will do the same. From this point forward, we are going to be a family-friendly group. I'm super glad to hear it. That's Let's get back to the game, boys. I'm good for it, guys. I must say, though, I am pleasantly surprised that you guys were on board with me this whole time. Perhaps you guys are my friends after all. Here, this is the fact you see with these friends. We only want to have good time. Exactly. Let's do this big, boys. Where are we exactly? Well, I just got bored. Now I need part place to complete the dark blue set. You're dominating this match. Amazing job. Thank you for the praise, my friend. And I have a proposal for you, Bessie. What is it, Bessie? I will give back your valuable rent property in exchange for St. James to us. I don't think this is an offer you can sell this, if I'm being honest. What do you mean by that, George? Never mind me. Let's just continue playing the game. Sound good? Sounds great. Just know that we care for you and that we will always be there for you. We all love you, Bessie. always. It's great doing business with you, Becky. It's great doing business with you, too, Becky. I'm glad we could peacefully negotiate things like this. Setting up houses. You really are just it's what I do. Oh, we definitely know. Now it's up to us to make sure you don't get far ahead of this man. I wish you guys good luck. Having 2 houses on each property gets you feeling good. You have the advantage for sure, but I'm close to owning my own set of properties. You do realize that you need to negotiate with me for that last red property, right? Oh, I know. So what's it going to take? Name a...
PM, Great Peace and Financing Office. Yeah, responders. Regular traffic insurance and tax flying insights and outbound things like the Sabres. Stand like that.
Now, don't get it twisted. We're not saying this is going to happen. But I need to get some discourse going on out there. Because when it comes to the Vancouver Canucks, the departure of one Jonathan Jonathan Miller was a pretty big deal for most of us in this fan base. We all know and we all recognize the skill set that JT Miller possessed for the Vancouver Canucks. A 99-point player in 21-22 who then had a bounce down year to just being over a point per game in 22-23. Might I remind you, this 22-23 season wasn't particularly great for JT Miller, even though he was over a point per game. This season, along with that 2020-2021 season, was filled with a lot of discussion as to how good JT really was. There were a lot of lackadaisical back checks and insufficient defensive plays, total give-ups that he had where he would just stop skating and glide back into his own zone. And I'd say every other year was kind of a
police station down here. This guy.
His first season in Vancouver, not great year the year after that, 99-point year in 2021-2022, and then the drop-off into that season. But things really turned around for JT.
Everybody else is on your ELC. How's this kid doing?
The first Vancouver Canucks.
Central shit, nice. Okay.
Since Pedersen the previous year, but still, Miller was a beast. And then in this most recent season, Miller was under a point per game again for Vancouver, although I will say he wasn't as bad in this 24-25 season as he had been some
Campus, 2 year of a team.
Back checking Miller years where JT would go up there and rage in his own goaltender. He wasn't that bad this previous year, but all the stuff with Elias Pedersen and the drama forced the Canucks to move on from him. He went over to New York, and he had 35 points in 32 games played. Once again,
capital, Victor Olsen.
Now here's the thing. I wanted to open up this video by talking about JT before we dive straight into Filipino, the Vancouver Canucks center that they got in that JT Miller trade. Now I'm very aware that Vancouver wasn't necessarily in a position to take Tilo and fully believe that, yeah, this is our guy, 1,000,000%. We made the JT trade because we wanted to get Tilo, not because we wanted to get rid of JT. Philip Shields was almost traded for Josh Norris at the trade deadline after all. Vancouver was in a spot where they were comfortable moving on from this guy shortly after acquiring him. And Tilo in this Canucks did only had 15 games played. He had 6 points. He was hurt one more time. And honestly, the production doesn't really stand out as a plus, especially when you compare it to JT Miller. But with all that said, talking about 25-year-old Tilo and talking about 32-year-old JT Miller, I wanted to dive into what we made by Chester Mang on Twitter, but got those views in my brain perfect. And it's something that I thought was so interesting that I wanted to bring it up here on the YouTube channel as well. On August 20th, 2025, Landon Ferrara posted about the 100 Canucks podcast, where they ended up having Filipino on as a guest. It's Ferraro, it's John Shannon, they go out there and do their thing, they talk about the Canucks, it's 100% Canucks. And you have Chester Bingo out there reply saying this: I think the odds of Filipino having more 5-on-5 points for JT Miller this year are way higher than people think. And that's a very particular thing to say. 5-5 points. Is Tito capable of scoring more than Miller? Probably a stretch considering JT was at more ice time and he's very elite, completing high-danger passes to the slot. That said, he has a higher 5v5 points per 60 than Besser does over the last 3 years. A healthy Hito playing second-line minutes could get 35 to 40 5v5 points.
Why
would they go 5 that?
basically connected into the home zone? The classroom eyebrows
Super fast Justin Chester and LeBron saying Hito is a volume machine, and he'll inevitably get some block water. This is a graph that Chester went out there and tweeted out, talking about JT Miller and Filipinos' advanced analytics with their new teams. Time on ice per game is pretty equal, actually. JT 13-17, Filipinos 13-10. Corsi 4 per 60.
Wow, look at that.
FF per 60.
17
FF
points.
per 60.
Nice. How's he doing?
The world is that. That's Fenwick. Okay. Fenwick 4 for 60 minutes of ice time, which measures the rate at which a player or team generates unblocked shot attempts for their team relative to the opponent. Fenwick counts all shots not blocked or missed, providing a more accurate measure of team skill and offensive opportunity than shots on goals alone. Therefore, FF per 60 indicates the offensive pressure a player or team creates over an hour of ice time. So, Fenwick for 60, Hito has a much better Fenwick for 60 than JT. JT also has a higher Fenwick games for 62. Hito, for all intents and purposes, you look at shot score percentage, Hito has had better advanced analytics when you're looking at just the qualities of how many chances are thrown out there on the ice. Corsi, Fenwick, and shots are all in Hito's favor. Now, things get a little bit different when you scroll down. Once you see the goals for and the goals against, this is where JT Miller shines. Miller has 3.38 goals for per 60. Hito has 0.91. Goals against, though, JT has got 4 than Hito. Goals for percentage is also in JT's favor because he has so many more goals than Hito does. Hito is at 27.27 goals for per 60. However, he stands and even out in the expected goals categories. Hito has a much higher 3.36 expected goals for per 60 and a higher expected goals for percentage versus JT Miller. All that to say is that Filipinos, from an analytical point of view, this is true. Those numbers do not justify any sort of a meaningful return for a guy who had 100 points last year. 6 points in 15 games is not great. And even when you take a look at some of the converted goal for and goal against chances, you know the Canucks don't do much. But in all the other stats, in terms of shot attempts, Corsi, shots that get on goal, he shines over JT. And I get that you can say it's not enough to fully convince.
Welcome back. All right, this is video from five people on the internet for your Wednesday, August 27th. Get closer to September. We're getting closer to when we will be seeing these videos daily once again. That being said, we'll start off with the top and fourth and showing how this goes. Connor McDavid. So, Connor McDavid has a contract that expires in July 1st, potentially one of the months. There's no reason for him to be in a rush at this point to have to sign an extension. And that certainly seems to be the way that he's carrying himself right now. He is fine of going into the season with no contract extension in place. The pressure is not on him. The pressure is definitely on the Oilers, and so I would expect that there'll be more talk. I have seen some, assuming that it's just a big company who's going to sign and he's going to talk. But until that contract is signed, you just don't know how things are going to turn out. He does think he wants to win in Edmonton. And he also says all options are on the table. So all options would include signing, and next week, signing before the season starts. Signing during training camp,
going into the season without a contract, going right up until trade deadline without a contract, and not being worried about it. So, like I said, the pressure is absolutely on Stan Bowman and the Oilers here. McDavid can just say,
Most during part of the are never known to operate. That feels in the break. Chances are a team from a local farm.
go get a contract, but if the Oilers don't give you the guy that you're looking for, we'll get that somewhere else. One of those players, yeah, he can get whatever money, whatever terms he wants from various teams around the NHL in the event that he can't come to the expansion agreement. So we'll see how long they're out. But it should make for a very interesting season. Speaking of which, Michael Backham, talking about Rasmus Anderson, he says it's obvious that Anderson's getting traded. And it is odd, to me anyways, to hear a teammate talking about something else. He's not wrong, right? But Anderson's great, not having taken some yet. We're a couple weeks away from the start of training camp. There's a good chance, I think, maybe, and then at the very least, at the start of training camp, Rasmus Anderson's still a member of the Calgary Flames. But if it's obvious to Backham, it's going to be obvious to others on the team. So you're traveling that line, you don't want to see any kind of distraction, and it shouldn't be. But you also want to make sure that the player is not distracted with the process. So it will be interesting to see what Anderson's attitude with it all is, especially since clearly his teammates know that if he is going to do a bit of a just about his when, and unfortunately, the one place he wants to go is Vegas. Vegas does not have an abundance of cap space, so it has to be $1 in, $1 out trade almost, and exactly that. For the Vegas Golden to pick up Anderson. And obviously another thing Vegas would want, and has a history of, is they want to have an extension in place with the players before they acquire them. At the very least, possibly they want an extension in place, because you don't want to just be bringing in a rental if you're Vegas. Vegas is very good at keeping guys around when they want to. I would say this. There have been talks about how ruthless they can be as much, which is true, but they're not trying about putting together insurance and getting somebody to want to extension. So, San Jose Sharks, a team that has been down on the walk on the ice, they get a bit of a boost with this news from yesterday that San Jose City Council has approved an arena renovation deal, which will keep the team in the city until at the very least 2051. So, yeah, another 25 years in San Jose for them. And the Sharks have been very, very good through most of their time in San Jose. Like I said, obviously, it's the leading years recently, but they're building their way back up. They've got celebrations, they've got some very good young players to play with them. And so, they get the arena renovation done. The biggest surprise I've ever had was having the Sharks fan tell me there's no steel in that building. You would think they lean into the Sharks branding and they got steel every time they get. I think that's changed since then, but yeah, that arena could use some renovations and a little bit more sharp identity being brought into it. I mentioned Vegas, for instance, Vegas has the whole portrait and this whole thing, and San Jose, I think they do that. I think Sharks. It's one of the best logos you can have, one of the best branding you can have. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how those renovations work. And it's great to see that team able to get your Patrick Kane. So Patrick Kane and talks as we get ready for the Olympics, and of course all the Olympics and invitational orientation stuff is going on. So Patrick Kane is hopeful that he will make it onto the U.S. team. He was not selected for the Four Nations American team, which I think puts his odds at probably longer. And I feel bad for Kane because honestly, one less goal around the Olympics would be great. He did win silver in the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver. He has represented the United States on 2 other occasions and would like to do so again. So, Patrick Kane wants to be on this team. I don't think he's going to get there, honestly. But considering injuries, and days of the week present, I don't know if this necessarily makes a lot of sense for about the USA. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think that putting Patrick Kane on the USA makes sense? And who do you bump out for a bit there from the Four Nations group? So the national broadcasting, the American National Broadcasting, there we go. That schedule has been
Try Airless Essential Mist Diffuser. Transform your space with a fragrant mist. Here.
Man, oh man, this is a blast to the past. Take a look at this. We're talking about Boston Bruins prospect fading at resale today. But before we dive into the scoop, the trade speculation and the past interest in him from Edmonton, I wanted to shine a spotlight on some of these. 4 years ago, we made a Why and What video talking about Lisa as a sleeper first overall pick. A guy who was absolutely cracked in Sweden when he was a younger prospect. And we also did talk about when the Canucks actually wanted this guy back in the day. Bo Borga has some really interesting trade conversation as well. Fabian Lysell has been all over the channel over the past little while, especially when it comes to Vancouver Canucks trade discussion, mostly because this guy did play for the Vancouver Giants and was a fan favorite in 21-22. But today we're talking about this Boston Bruins prospect because of some rumors leading him to Edmonton. Lysell is 22 years old, 5'11", 181, a right-handed winger who was drafted by the Bruins at the 21st overall spot in 2021. This is a guy whose skating was one of the best in the 2021 draft. You think about Owen Power, kind of been years now, then Fabian Lysell, you can debate. His skating alone and his supercharged aggressiveness put him near the top of the draft class in terms of overall projection. Even the scouting report over here says that Lysell's skating form is nearly perfect, with great posture, depth, and flexibility with the ankles, knees, and hips, giving him straight line speed and two-step quickness to birth. Lysell spots teammates for the Raiders and has the depth touch to get them the punt when the time is right. He scans regularly, reloads to support his descent, tracks well through the neutral zone, and his work rate never wanes. Not to mention the fact that Lysell was ranked as highly as number 9 by elite prospects in their 2021 draft rankings. Future considerations had an 11, McKinney at 10, McKenzie at 14, Button had his 30, which was a lot lower, unfortunately. But he was ranked as an A-tier prospect by elite prospects back in 2021. There was a lot to like out of this Swedish winger. As the years went on, though, Fabian Lysell's fanfare went up and down a little bit. I mean, his time at Vancouver, the Giants, that is, was really good. And inevitably, he became a New York Orthopedic AHL Providence Bruins player, scoring 50 points in 56 games played in 23-24. He ended up getting a cup of coffee with the regular Boston Bruins in 24-25, 3 points in 12 games, scoring his first NHL goal, which is nice to see, but it's not really in the best spot as of right now. Which is why we're going to move on to the scoop made by Bruins diehards on Twitter that goes out there and asks the question as to whether or not the Bruins are giving up on Fabian Lysell. Rumors are flying that Boston's been talking in a trade with Edmonton, and Lysell's name is right in the middle of it. This this YouTube video will be linked in the description below, but we also have ourselves an article that will be linked in the description too, but didn't know you saw it, that expands a little bit more on this Fabian Lysell Oilers talk. NHL insider Dominic Tiano from John.hockey.com has revealed the Oilers and Bruins are having chats about a possible trade involving Fabian Lysell. Recent news from Tiano states that the Bruins may be involved in trade discussions. Tiano, who's well respected in Boston for his prospect coverage, opines that dealing Lysell would be reasonable for the Bruins. Said Corporal Ron of the Bruins Diehard podcast, when the Boston Bruins used their first round pick in the 2021 draft to select Lysell, they saw a glimpse of the type of player the franchise rarely has a chance to draft. A pure offensive talent with blazing speed, elite hands, and top 6 potential. Fast forward to today, and instead of talking about him as a fixture in the Bruins lineup, the conversations have shifted. Rumors are swirling that Bruins may be desperately Lysell in a trade with the Oilers. Dominic Tiano suggested in the Discord that the Bruins and Oilers have been in conversation. Now, Discord is all of a sudden being used as a source to talk about NHL trade rumors and discussion, but still, there's really nothing else that we can go out there and talk about, so let's dive into this here. It is a pretty interesting report, and Dominic Fiato is a guy that has had some sort of a platform the past little while, covering the Boston Bruins and being in a spotlight. I mean, his Twitter account, he's got, how many followers does he have? He's got 6,000. He does stuff on OHL Writers. He does the podcast for What's Bruin as well. I mean, Dominic Fiato has his sources, and he's got people in the NHL world connected to him, so I don't want to go out there and immediately dismiss him just because he said it on Discord, but still, it's kind of interesting that now we're talking about Discord as a potential NHL trade rumor source. This also, by the way, was written and expanded about on articles on Edmonton Journal, which we'll dive into as well. Let's go out there and look at it. Edmonton sell Edmonton. Here it is. So Edmonton Journal went out there and posted this yesterday on their website. Oilers trade talks for a first round winner from the Boston Bruins. In this piece, it'll be linked in the description as well. The 60 years. Sabres will drive it excitement across the mountains. 60 years of sleep. 60 years of 70 days. 60 years. Number one, Tino has a reputation in Boston as being a good source from teams on Bruins prospects. I can't speak for Bruce or Bruce's credibility or sources, but he's well enough regarded in Boston. This all makes sense from the Boston perspective, though maybe not so much from the Edmonton perspective. Two, it's logical that the Bruins would be thinking of trading off himself, even as he was their first-round pick in 2021. Boston drafted one pick of 44% logo and was traded away by the Bruins last summer. Himself has been much more successful than NHL logo. He's known for his speed and skill passing, but he's failed to make the Bruins after 3 NHL years, and his point production in the NHL trended down last season. He's also in the final year of his AMC. This past March, Boston coach Joe Sakic said of him, "The reports from Providence are all positive as far as this game down."